So are you ready to PR yourself? We'll remove the mystery from all things PR, and we'll discuss everything from our top strategies to tips and tricks and everything that you can utilize to further enhance your brand or your message. I've been in media, I'm a journalist, and I'm also a publicist. I am Leah Frazier, CEO of Think3 Media, and your host for PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. Let's go.
And welcome back to another episode of PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. I am your host, Leah Frazier, back from vacation. And I am so excited to be back with each and every one of you. We've had some interviews that I did before I went out of town that we're going to get uploaded for you, talking about everything from influencer marketing to professional PR tips from some really advanced PR specialists. And so you're definitely going to want to keep it locked in. I have been thinking about this podcast a lot since I've been gone. It was my plan to try to upload some episodes before I left, but I've just been real intentional just about listening to my body and getting rest because I really pushed myself really hard for the first half of the year. And then I do a big fashion show in June here in DFW, and it takes a lot out of me. And then every year after the fashion show, I immediately take off, and that is my vacation time. And so this year I extended it. I've been gone for almost a month. So I left after Juneteenth and I hosted a wellness retreat in Bali for about 20 women. It was amazing. If anybody's ever been to Bali, it's just something about just when you step off the plane, you are immediately calm. And so Bali was incredible. My fiance was there. He actually works for the travel company that I partnered with for the trip. So it was great to spend time with him and just be in Indonesia. Like, the people are just beautiful people. Like, I can't explain it. Their cultures, their customs are beautiful. I even went to go see one of their healers there, and they told me about myself. And I'm like, how do you know that? You don't know me. And so it was awesome. My sister went on the trip, and then I left and went back to Tokyo with her. It was my first time to Tokyo. The sushi there is unmatched. Like, what are we doing here in the US? I really thought we were doing it big, and it is nothing compared to the fish and the flavors that they have over there in Japan. Like, you don't even need soy sauce. The wasabi tastes different. The ginger tastes different. Like, it was just on a whole nother level. Sake and everything. It was just amazing. I did my first onsen experience. So my sister booked our hotel, and it ended up having the onsen natural hot springs on the basement level, which is a public bath. They separated it out from women and men. And honestly, no one's really looking at it. It was the most freeing experience. I couldn't wait. I was like, I want to go twice a day. You just feel so clean and liberated, and you're in the sauna, and then you go in these natural hot springs, and it just feels good to have that hot water just kind of like massaging your muscles, your feet after walking around all day. And then they have different tubs you can get into with different levels of water. There's the sauna. And then when you get done and you dry off, you bring all of your bed clothes there with you. So you oil up, deodorant, lotion up, whatever. If you wear perfume, whatever you want to do, you do your hair. And then as you're leaving out and you're all dressed, they have like popsicles and ice cream, and they're there because you've been in this hot bath for a while. And I really thought I was going to back out because I'm like, I don't want to be naked in front of everybody. And honestly, it was the coolest thing. And then just seeing that there were so obviously I was on the women's side. There was mothers there with their children. It's a part of their culture. And just to see that this is something that many of them do every single day. And so again, I love just immersing myself in new experiences. I thought I was going to hate it. I actually loved it. I woke up every day like, I'm ready to go to the onsen, because it's literally like going to the spa every day, except you're just naked in front of everybody, but whatever. Okay, so did that in Japan, and then left Japan to go to Albany, New York, to go to Brianna Wiest's workshop that she was holding at Omega Institute for writers. And it was letters to your future self. Had a personal emergency arise where I had to leave early, but at least I got to spend that one day with Brianna, and it was absolutely phenomenal. It just opened up so much creativity within me. So if you don't follow her already, I may even link her in the notes. You got to follow this woman. Like, she'll get your whole life together. She'll snatch your edges, your wig off. She'll tell you which way to go. She's like that girlfriend and that family member that cuts straight to the chase, like very direct, very south side of Chicago. But her writings just really speak to your soul. And so even just that one day that was there, I was supposed to be there 3, something happened and I had to fly back home early. It was life-changing. So if you're in the Dallas area, we are hosting Brianna Wiest August 6th at SMU for Dallas Startup Week. Yours truly is leading the discussion. I want to get all up in her business. I don't know if she's going to let me do it, but we're definitely going to try. And I'm just so excited to be hosting one of the top authors in the world here in Dallas, Texas, especially for wellness and self-care and just soul-shifting content, the stuff we really need right now. So again, and I'll put this link in the comments too for you to register if you want to attend. It is Brianna Wiest Dallas Startup Week, Women of Innovation Day on August the 6th. I believe our discussion is at 5:30 p.m. on the campus of SMU for Dallas Startup Week. And you can find that link to register in the show notes. So anyways, went to New York, came back, literally was only back for maybe a day or two, maybe 2 days, and then had to fly to Las Vegas for Cosmoprof Beauty for my hair client. Was out there for 3 days. And that's what this episode is about. And really my job as PR and communications for this particular company is when there are expos that she is at where she's stuck behind her booth or networking, or maybe there's major meetings, my job is to maximize those other relationships that are public facing for the brand, whether that's knowing her company's goals and bringing the right people to the booth that I know will help further those goals. So it's very intentional networking. It's very intentional PR. And of course, that also includes press and media. So we'll be talking about that. It was very successful. She was super happy. She was like, "What are the dates for next year? Go ahead and block off your calendar, Leah. You know, you got to come to Vegas July 13th to 15th. So that's going to be the basis of our discussion today. So yes, a lot of travel. And then I was surprised to be brought out by Four Seasons Anguilla for 4 days. And I just returned a couple of days ago to stay at their property and arrived and was upgraded to a villa. And y'all, it was literally out of a dream. Like we hit this corner to come into the villa and it's all glass and you could see through the glass, see through the living room, see through the dining room, and all you see is the ocean. And I'm like, this can't be life. It was like infinity pool, ocean. And I'm a water girl. So I'm just like, I'm not leaving here for 4 days. I don't know what else it is you want me to see on this property, but she doesn't want to leave. And it was amazing. We had our own concierge that we could text at any time, just for little items. And me, I'm just a very considerate person. I'm like, oh, but I don't want to bug you. And she's like, but this is my job. And I'm like, but I don't want to bug you. And she's like, but this is my job. So I brought one of my very best friends with me, and I didn't know we were going to be in a 4-bedroom villa. Otherwise, I would have invited more people to share the wealth, but I didn't know. But it was a beautiful property. We walk in, they had a bottle of champagne on ice for us and some snacks, and was just giving us the lay of the land. We got our own private golf cart that took us around the property. So that was our car essentially to get us around. And they had dinners set for us, lunches set for us, like different things around the property. And it was just amazing. And I tend to think sometimes, and I got to work on mindset, and I know this is one of my faults, but I'm just like, how do these people find me? I am not even gonna lie to you guys. I was like, what article did they read? And they're like, we want you to come out and we want you to tell Dallas people why they should be vacationing at the Four Seasons in Anguilla. I don't know. I do post my travels quite a bit on on my social media. I do freelance write for numerous publications, so I don't know if that was it. I don't know, but I was chosen, and I'm just going to sit in that. And of course, I'm going to do my write up and provide my feedback and really just reflect on the experience of being brought out. And the villa, I'm being told, was anywhere between $9,000 to $10,000 a night. And so just be able to say that. And I think DJ Khaled had come out a couple of days earlier. So the whole island was kind of buzzing about the fact that it's one of his very favorite places to vacation. And I'm like, oh, well, DJ Khaled's villa was right next door. Oh my God, she's made it. But anyways, I'll be posting those pictures very soon. So just stay locked in. If you want to see just a beautiful resort, I'm going to be posting my pictures versus the professional ones they sent, so you can actually see what it looks like in real time from a real person. But yeah, so that's where I've been. I've been kind of frolicking around, and I am here until about mid to late August, where I start revving up travel again. But until then, I'm going to be dropping these episodes that were pre-recorded that apply to you now. And so before I go into this next break, I just want to be like, that song, like, what the helly, what the hellionce, what the hellionte, what the hell is going on? I'm gone. And the whole Coldplay CEO cheating scandal happens. And I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I'm petty. So I was laughing hysterically. Because I feel like between the CEO, Andy Byron, and apparently he was at the concert with his head of HR, and the Kiss cam panned to them, and they tried to act like he literally took his hands from around her waist and ducked and hid. And it has become a social media joke. It is still ongoing. And even this morning I was like, okay, we're past that, right? And so I was just thinking, as the scandal was happening, I was like, oh my God, crisis comms. And I went to his LinkedIn page. He hadn't shut it down yet. So as it was going viral, I went to his page just to be like, what the helly? What is going on? And they were lighting his ass up on LinkedIn. I'm not going to lie. It was kind of funny, but I was just trying to see, like, had he caught on yet? Had he shut down his accounts? At that point in time, he had not. So it circulates, it's going around, it makes it around the world literally in less than 2 seconds. And then a statement is issued by Andy Byron. And maybe I'll do another episode about this, but what bothered me about this is that all the outlets took this statement and shared it on social media. They shared it as a part of their articles. And I feel like is the pace of information so fast that we have done away with fact checking, that we have done away with whether this is the truth. So somebody sent it to me, a fellow journalist here in Dallas, and I immediately said, this is fake. And she was like, well, why would you think that this is fake? And I said, well, as a comms person, first off, the company Astronomer, it was valued at billions of dollars. So that lets me know you have an internal communications team. Even if the CEO, Andy Byron, was in hot water, which he effing was, and I'm pretty sure he told his attorneys, he told everybody, because they had to come up with a crisis plan, and they had to do it if they didn't already have one, and they had to put that thing into action ASAP. There is no way $1 billion company is operating without a crisis comms plan. And then there's no way that the CEO would circumvent having to send it through his comms team or send it through internal PR before releasing this. So this statement, I'll read a little bit of it. It just says, I want to acknowledge the moment that's been circulating online and the disappointment it's caused. So PR me says, okay, we're starting off good. We are taking accountability. Great. What was supposed to be a night of music and joy turned into a deeply personal mistake playing out on a very public stage. Okay, ChatGPT. I want to sincerely apologize to my wife, my family, and the team at Astronomer. You deserve better from me as a partner, as a father, and as a leader. Okay, sounding good. This is not who I want to be or how I want to represent the company I helped build. I'm taking time to reflect, to take accountability, and to figure out the next steps. And then there is a huge gap, between steps and the comma. And I'm like, yeah, no, this is definitely somebody wrote this because of the mistake. Somebody would have caught this. Anyways, figure out the next steps. And then there's an error with grammar there. Personally and professionally, I ask for privacy as I navigate that process. Still sounding okay. This is where it goes left. And this is where I said, this is fake. Then it goes on to say, I also want to express how troubling it is that what should have been a private moment became public without my consent. I respect artists and entertainers, but I hope we can all think more deeply about the impact of turning someone else's life into a spectacle. As a friend once sang, lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. Y'all, ain't no way in hell a comms team would have allowed him to try to re-gaslight the situation that happened when the kiss cam goes on everybody and then quote a song at the end as if it's a joke. Yeah, no, it immediately told me this is fake. And I could not believe the number of news outlets that shared this. And it's just letting me know that the pace at which we're receiving information now is circumventing any type of fact checking for news. And for me, that is scary. And I even text a news station here that I constantly do media with, and they had shared it. And I told the host, like, this is fake. She was like, you think? I'm like, I know, as a person that helps companies with statements such as this, there's no way that an experienced person in communications would have written those last two paragraphs the way that they did and have the grammar error that I saw in the third paragraph. So, girl, this was bad. So we fast forward to today. There was another statement that was issued. I didn't really have time, but there was an official response that did come out from the company Astronomer later that did say that public comment and the statement from the CEO was fake. And their board issued a statement. And then today a video populates where now Astronomer has hired Gwyneth Paltrow. So if anybody knows, the singer of Coldplay, Chris Martin, y'all. Okay, so Coldplay lead singer Chris Martin, we all know, used to be married to Gwyneth Paltrow. So now Astronomer has gone back, and they had a social media post and a video circulating where she is the temporary spokesperson for Astronomer, and they made a joke about it. Just it's as if we're here to answer your Q&A. And so you see the person typing like, how has social media been for you guys? I'm sure it's been quite daunting or something. And then before they can even finish, Gwyneth Paltrow will answer with a very, thank you for your interest in Astronomer and for all the services we provide and da-da-da-da-da. And so if you watch it, it is, to me, it's funny. And I do think it's a great response to it all to have hired Gwyneth. Now people are raving that why would you spend this type of money to hire Gwyneth Paltrow to do this and yada, yada, yada. But I think it's the most appropriate response to what's happening, and it'll match virality with virality, because what happened with the kiss cam went viral, and now we're matching it by using Gwyneth Paltrow, who obviously has some sort of affiliation with Coldplay through Chris Martin. And we know that this post will go viral because we've been waiting to hear from the company side how they're going to respond to this, and they're doing it with humor. I don't think that this is bad. I don't think that this is bad anyway. So let me know in the comments wherever you're seeing this at, or let me know at PR Yourself Podcast on Instagram or any of my other social media accounts what your thoughts are. Did you think that Astronomer handled this well? What were your thoughts on the statement that was circulating and on the situation in general? Because this was a crisis comms nightmare for Astronomer, if we really break this down. So let me know what you're thinking. And I just want you to marinate on that for a little bit. When we come back from the break, it's just going to be my 2 cents on what you can do if you are a consumer a packaged brand, or if you are a brand that often does vendor booths and expos and things like that, I am tailoring this episode towards you and things that you can do to take advantage from a PR perspective when you're involved in these type events. So you're going to want to keep it locked in, and just keep it locked in. And I will be back right after the break.
This episode is brought to you by Kitcaster. Kitcaster books you on top podcasts. How do funded startup founders attract prospects and talent? Podcast interviews. How do entrepreneurs with exits find new deals? Podcast interviews. How do C-suite execs differentiate in crowded markets? Podcast interviews. Kitcaster books you on top podcasts. Click the link in the show notes for a special offer. Celebrate good conversation.
Back from the break, and we're just going to dive right into it. I'm going to keep it short, simple, sweet, and to the point. Many of you who have consumer products, or you sell products, and even if you sell services as well, but this is mainly geared towards products, where you find yourself having to do trade shows or expos or things of that nature in order to bring awareness to your brand or to whatever it is that you're selling. This is for you. So I do have several clients where I will go to those expos with them, or we'll try to work with the PR team for the expo to see how we can leverage press and media while the client is at the show. But these are just some tips that I have, just even based off of this last visit at Cosmoprof Beauty, that I was there with my client. And so the first thing you're going to want to do when you're signing up for these expos, you can actually reach out to, normally you have an account manager or someone that's helping you to get signed up for the expo, especially if it's a larger one where you're spending an astronaut, thousands of dollars to be there. And even if you're not, even if it's a smaller expo in your city and you're not, you still can ask these questions. So the first thing is, hi, I'm just reaching out, or reach out back to whoever is securing your booth space for you or your vendor space, and just asking them, will there be press and media present? You are entitled to that information. And most of those expos, I remember when the makeup show used to come every year in Dallas, they had a press list. They would let you know, like, we have so-and-so coming from this, and so-and-so confirmed to be there on day 2, and da-da-da. They would give you the list. So even if they didn't give you the direct contact information, which they're probably not going to do, they did have a list of who would be in attendance. And I will tell you in a little bit why that's important. So the makeup show would do it. I remember asking on behalf of a client years ago, and them just being like, yeah, we'll let you know who's coming. And so the same here with Cosmoprof Beauty, but Cosmoprof goes a step further because they actually have a press zone. And so in the press zone, they allow exhibitors to set up meetings with designated press and media or editors, and to talk about their brand, to get in front of them, to set up interviews, to set up follow-ups so that they could get featured in the magazines and in the press. So Cosmoprof really does take it to the next level. But no matter what level your expo or your trade show is in, you can still ask if press and media will be present, and if you can have a list of those that are confirmed to attend. Because why? You're going to go to number 2. You're going to be very intentional about your outreach. So just using Cosmoprof as an example again, they will release a list of who's going to be in the press zone. So as soon as you get that list, you're able to connect with them on LinkedIn. You're able to begin researching them. What are the type of things that they cover? I will always shout the praises of Muckrack, MUCKRACK, because you can see the last things that they've written on or what they've covered. The outlets, if they're a freelancer, where they typically will have their coverage published. And you can find them on LinkedIn. You can start following them on Instagram and really start familiarizing yourself with them ahead of time. Even before Cosmoprof, when I worked on another trade show for a client and they told me who was going to be there or even the different outlets, I was able to start following from there. So that is another rule of thumb. You just really want to be intentional of, I'm not just going to the event and sitting behind the booth and expecting people to come find me. I'm going to find you, and then I'm going to direct you to my space, whether that's coming to the booth or setting a meeting aside. Cosmoprof actually has an app where you can request meetings from attendees. It's actually really cool. And you can set it up within the app, and then you guys kind of decide where you want to meet and blah, blah, blah. But you can request meetings from people within their app. So, I mean, it's almost like there's no way you can fail. Okay. So 1, asking if there's a press list or if they can tell you who or what outlets will be represented, even if they can give you the days that they will be there, that would be to your best advantage. 2, then going and finding those folks on social media, getting linked up with them, connecting with them. I've always found that LinkedIn is the best, but other things may work better for other folks. And then 3rd, just put balls to the wall. Like, invite them to your booth. It's always great if you can have an incentive of maybe you have a free sample or you have something that you want to give to them or gift to them so that they can come by the booth or where you're at so you can talk to them more about the brand. But going ahead and just saying like, hey, I'm in booth 284 located near blah, blah, blah. We'll love it if you would stop by. I'm so glad that you're here and I would love to meet you. It really is that simple. And doing that based off the list that you find. And then here's another trick that I did this time at Cosmoprof. As my client was doing all of her meetings and she was manning the booth and she was talking to everybody that was coming by, I sat in a corner and I went on LinkedIn and I just typed Cosmoprof into the subject line. And there's a way that you can have LinkedIn filter that anybody that mentioned Cosmoprof, it will come up in your feed. And then I just went to see who was mentioning it as of the last couple of days. And I was just going to see what they were saying, like who do they work for? Who do they represent? And I found several media and I would go on their posts. So if they had just posted about Cosmoprof or did a photo, I would reply back, oh my gosh, I hope you're having a great time. If by chance you have a chance, please stop by blah, blah, blah booth located over here. We would love to see you. And just really went down the line. Does this take a lot of time to do? Absolutely. But does it pay off that now you're being more intentional about meeting your goals and finding the people who need to find you? Absolutely. And it takes it to the next level. And I think that personal touch of, hey, you're here, I'm here too. Please come visit. And that invitation of come see me, it does better for you because I guarantee the other 20,000 people that are there did not do that. They just don't have the time, and B, they're not thinking that forward. I promise you. And so we did have a couple of folks actually that I had reached out to LinkedIn that stopped by my client's booth. And I remember one of those days getting a frantic call from her mom, like, you've got to get here right now. They've got all these cameras. They've got all this stuff and they want to interview her. Where are you? And I was like, I'm literally right around the corner. I'll be there in a minute. Who is it? And it was a media company I had reached out to on LinkedIn. And little did I know is that they were going around trying to find the best new innovative brands. And once they got to my client's booth, they loved what she was doing and ended up giving her an award for one of the best innovative brands that they had found at the expo. Did a whole video interview. It was a whole thing. And she was just so excited. Like, Leah, how did you find these people? I'm like, girl, LinkedIn. And so there was other folks that I had reached out to as well that came by the booth. There was folks from the press zone that we had sent over to the booth again. And so it's all just about being strategic and asking for what you need. And if you reach out to, if you're going to an expo and you find 10 people on LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever that are mentioning that they're there and that you invite over to to your booth for some sort of strategic connection or whatever, even if 3 come and those 3 are key connections, you have done way more than what the average exhibitor is doing. And I promise you that on a whole nother level. So those are my tips. And then afterwards, follow up. So even after the event, I waited a couple of days. I didn't want to seem like a bugaboo. And I reached out on LinkedIn to some I had direct email addresses from. And I actually had one editor for Women's Health tell me, Leah, I want you to email me every single month because I'm going to feature your client. And you are not bugging me. Just remind me, I met you at Cosmoprof, So I will be emailing her every month because she told me to. Anywho, so the fortune is always in the follow-up with PR. Do not think that you're bugging people. You want to keep with that energy and that momentum that I just met you. It was so nice to meet you. And in this case, we were sending them products. So please let me know your address. And 9 times out of 10, they will give you their address so you can send them what they need to have in order to make a decision on whether they want to cover you or not. And so from all of the editors and the writers, we got all of their addresses. We're very organized. Everything is kept in a spreadsheet so that they can be kept up to date on any product changes, on anything going on with the brand. And boom, we're done. And so it was a very successful trip, but I wanted to do this episode specifically on this because especially for those of you that do trade shows and expos and conferences and do vendor tables a lot, it really has to go above and beyond you just sitting there behind the table trying to sell your goods. There really needs to be some research involved. If the brand itself or whoever is having you as a part of their experience can tell you what their plans are from a press and media perspective, you are owed that information, especially for some of you that are paying $5,000, $7,500 to showcase, $10,000 for a booth. You are owed that information so that you can maximize your experience and make it worth your while. So again, just as we're recapping and we're closing here, the first thing you're going to do is just ask, hey, what press and media are going to be here? Is there a list? Can you tell me who's going to be here and on what day? All they can do is say is no. Being intentional about following those individuals if they do give you a list, as some will, following them and following their outlets and doing your research before you get to the expo as to what do they cover so you know whether or not you're going to waste your time even inviting them into your space, if it's a good fit for you or not. And then you're going to go ahead and invite them to your booth. You're going to just suck it up and you're going to be like, hey, I just want you to swing by. You're not going to get your feelings hurt if they don't. You're not going to get your feelings hurt if they say no. The fact of the matter is that you made the outreach, because then even on the follow-up, you could just say, hey, I invited you to my booth. I know you were super busy and you couldn't stop by. We still want to send you something. You still made the initial outreach and you still made the connection that the both of you were at the expo and or the trade show at the same time. You're still in alignment with that energy. And then afterwards, as always, with anything in PR, you're going to follow up. So I hope this helps you. And you really don't even have to be a person that sells products. Like, this is just PR 101. It's all about intentionality and how far are you willing to dig in the dirt to get what you need? How far are you willing to go beyond what the person next to you is doing in their efforts to get what you want? And I'm not even going to lie to you guys. Like, I didn't realize like how just gritty I can get when I'm really wanting to accomplish things for my clients. And then I think about it and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe other people don't think to do this, or maybe like they won't do this, but I will. All right. So I hope that this has helped you out in some way, shape, or form. You know what to do. If you've liked this episode, go ahead and like it. You can share, comment, rate, and leave us a review. I'm seeing some new ratings, but would love some new reviews. We haven't had any in a little bit. So if you want to go ahead and leave us a review, go ahead. You can find us on Instagram at PR Yourself Podcast. If there are episode topics that you do want us to cover, please let me know and keep it locked in. We do have new episodes. I have some fantastic interviews I'm going to get uploaded. This next one coming your way will have to do with those pesky influencers. So we're talking all things influencer marketing with my dear friend Cynthia Smoot of Gangway Advertising. And then my boy, Zach Wilson, who owns an influencer agency here in Dallas, as we discuss, like, how can we just make them happy? Like, what's happening here? How can they make us happy? How they make our clients happy? And how can we all be happy in our little happy world, in our little happy sandbox? How can we make this happen? So that's what's coming up next. All right. And you know what to do. Like, comment, share, and until next time.